Hello friends, welcome back again. And in today's video, as I promised you, that I'm going to tell you about the IDEs, the editors that we are going to use for writing our C++ programs or C++ applications. Okay, so I would suggest you that if you want to practice the C++ code, then you should use the Visual Studio 2019 or whatever latest version is available. It's Visual Studio 2019 or any latest version. I think 2022 as of now till today is available, so you can use any of these. So I'm using 2019, so I will show you that how to create your first application using the C++ in Visual Studio 2019. And second is if you just want, if you don't have any IDE and if you just want to learn the syntax, semantics, and if you want to see like how to write the programs, if you want to practice your programs, then you can also use the online sources. There are online compilers also available, so I will show you both of them today. So online sources, we have online GDB compiler available, GBD or GDB, I need to check. So that is online GDB compiler, and apart from that, Visual Studio 2019 is there. So both of these you can use. So I would suggest that these two you must use, you should use, because if you are working in C++, then most of the places, whenever you go for work or whenever you will do the coding in C++, most of the places you will find only Visual Studio 2019. This IDE you will find most of the times. Apart from this, there are many other IDEs. There is another IDE called Visual Studio Code that can also be used, but Visual Studio 2019 is the most friendly IDE for all kind of C++ development in the modern era. Okay, so Visual Studio 2019 or 2022, whatever you want to install, that you can install. I'm not going to tell you that how to install it, because installation of these things are very important, very easy, and you can do it with the help of anyone, or you can go through the online sources. You can search on Google, you can find out the steps like how you can install the Visual Studio 2019, and how you can select the C++ compiler for that. Okay, so that is one thing. Another thing is, if you just want to practice some of the code, if you just want to practice at any place without having any editor on your machine, then in that case you can use the online source, which is known as the online GDB. So let me show you the online GDB, how it looks like. So I'm just opening it on the Microsoft Edge online source. I just need to show you. And in today's video, I'm just going to cover this thing only, online source, and what is the Visual Studio 2019 editor. Okay, so let me close all the unnecessary things, and let me open this. So online GDB. So if you search on it, you can Google it and you can find it out, the correct link. So online GDB, if I do this, then on the top you can see this thing, www.onlinegdb.com. So this is the one. Okay, so you can do this. You can open this. So it's www.onlinegdb.com. So you can open here, and on this online compiler, on the right hand side, you can select any language. Like we are going to work on the C++. So if you want to select the latest version of C++, that is 20, then you can select this one. Whatever version you want to work on, that will be not a matter of concern here. So I'm just going to select this C++ 20. If you want to choose the C++ Turbo C, you might have seen that Turbo C compiler where the blue screen is there, and if you write the code, you write it in the, it becomes white. Whatever normal thing is there, that becomes white. The other things, like if you have written some statement, that becomes red. So all those colors you can see. So if you want to use the Turbo C, that can also be used. If you want to use that, you are free to use that. Otherwise, if you want to be on the latest course of action, if you want to be use the latest editors, if you want to be with the latest code, then in that case I would suggest that you should use the C++ 20 or C++, simple C++, because you are just a newbie to C++. So you can use simply the C++, or I would suggest that select this one, C++ 20 or whatever. So I'm just going to select this C++, so that we can see like how these programs run, right? So I have selected C++, and whenever you select C++, a default application, a default program will be created for you. If you want to run this program, you can see on the top, you can see this thing like run command is here. So if you press this, it will run and it will give you the hello world printed here. So this way you can work on this in this one. And if you want to write like anything, if you want to update anything like hello India or whatever you want to do, you can do that, and you can check like how it runs. So you can do the run. So all these things you can do. If your program is running, if you want to stop it, then there is the stop button. Okay, apart from that, there is debug button. So what is the meaning of debug, that we are going to discuss later on when we will move around with the course ahead. So we are going to discuss all those things one by one. So don't worry about that. Today I'm just going to tell you about the editors. So this was one of the editors. Now let me talk about the other editor. So that is the one which is Visual Studio 2019. So if you have installed it, and if you just write it Visual Studio, then whatever current version has been installed, like if you have installed 2022, then you will be able to see Visual Studio 2022 here. But I have installed Visual Studio 2019, so Visual Studio 2019 is visible here. So I'm just going to click on it, and you will be able to see that Visual Studio 2019 is just getting opened. Okay, so once I get once this get opened, then all the things like C, I have installed everything like C# language, like Python, everything I have installed. I have chosen when I was installing Visual Studio 2019. Okay, so if you have to create a new project in C++, okay, a new program in C++, then you just have to do one thing. Just click on this create a new project. Once you click on the create a new project, it will present you with some templates for different languages. So if you are not able to find out the C++ template, then you can use this drop down. You can select the C++ language, and after the selecting the C++ language, you can see different options. So since we are going to work on the console applications first, because all these applications where you are writing the hello world or hello India, whatever you are writing, those are all the console applications. So for the initial understanding of the C++ language, we are going to create the console application. So we will be selecting this console app. So once you select this, you just do the next. After doing the next, you can see that it is asking you to provide a project name. You can provide like test project or learning project in C++, something like that. Once you do this, you just click on the create. Once you create that, you will be able to see a default file will come in front of you. And let's see what the name of that file, and we will update in that file, and we will see the output, whatever you want to see. Okay, so it is just opening. So now this has been opened, and now you can see by default it is showing you the main function, and it is showing you the std hello world, right? So you might have seen that it has directly used this std. Okay, so if you don't use this using namespace std, and if you want to use this cout, then you need to explicitly mention this std double colon cout. Okay, what is this double colon? This is known as the scope resolution operator. So all these operators we are going to discuss later on as soon as we move ahead in the course. But today I just wanted to remind you that if you don't want to use this using namespace std, then in that case, whatever you are using like cout, cin, whatever is there in the IO stream, you need to remember that you need to write this std everywhere with the scope resolution operator. Okay, what is the meaning of scope resolution? That is only for resolving the conflict. Okay, suppose there are two functions with the same name, like one function is with the name function, the other one is also with the name function, and both of them are in the different namespaces. Namespace is a unique reason where two namespaces can have functions with the same name, can have classes with the same names. You will understand these things I'm just mentioning here. If you, even if you are finding them as jargons, just don't worry about them. We are just going to discuss as soon as we will move ahead in the in this course. Okay, so just remember that better to use this using namespace std, and forget about every time using this std. Okay, so if you run this, so if you want to compile this, then what you will do, this is the source file. You can simply right click on it, and after selecting it, if you want to compile it, you can do the control F7 is for the compilation. Okay, so it is compiled now. And if you want to build it, then in that case what you will do, you will select the entire project. If you have to build it, you need to select the entire project, and you can build it. Okay, So you can see, you are able to see that this has been built. And now if you run it, you can use F5, or you can use like this, the arrow, the green arrow, you can click and you will be able to see the output, hello world. Okay, so this was all about the editors that you can use. So even if you don't have any editor installed, you can practice your code on the online GDB. Okay, before I conclude this particular lecture, I would like to tell you one more important concept related to the compilation. Okay, so let me tell you one important thing. Suppose and one more thing, you can see all these things in the green color, right? And these symbols, whenever you will put this symbol, then your statement will become comment. Comment means whenever your code will be compiled, that particular line will be omitted, that will be not be considered by the compiler. Okay, if you don't give that double slash, that will not be a comment, and that line will be considered to be compiled. And if there is a mistake in that line, any syntactical error is there, as per the rules of the programming language, if that is not correct, then it will be shown as an error to you. Okay, so now let me remove all these things. Okay, what do you think if I remove everything? This is a simple file, there is nothing, zero lines of code. Do you think this will compile? Yes, this will compile. If you think that this will not compile, you are wrong. Let us see, Control F7, you will be able to see this has been compiled, and you can see the succeeded message is there. So it has been compiled. But do you think it will be built? Yes or no? No, it will not be built. Let us see. You can do build, either do this or you can do Control Shift B. If you see here, there is the option Control Shift B. So if you do Control Shift B, then in that case, it will give you an error, because when you are building, then your application, your program must need to have the main function. Okay, so if you just write here int main, just write this, no inclusion of any of the header files, just the main function, then also your program will be built and compiled very well. Okay, you can compile it and you can very well build it as well. So let me build it. So it has been built now. Okay, apart from this, before I close, so one thing, before I move ahead, just to revise everything, that um, even without main function, your code can be compiled, first thing. Second thing, we understood that while building your application that you have written in C++, you must need to have the main function available in your project. Okay, otherwise your program will not be built. Now here you can see this build and rebuild option, clean solution option, all these options. What is the meaning of these options? Okay, so although we will discuss all these options one by one, but as soon as I will encounter these things, I will keep telling you, so that you keep upgraded yourself, in a gradual manner. Because if everything I will tell you in one go, then it will be a waste. Basically, until there is a need, you will not be able to do that, and you will not be able to understand that. So there is one option build solution, there is one option clean rebuild solution, and there is one option clean solution. So what is the meaning of the build solution? So let me tell you what happens. Suppose if you have a file, the name of that file is file.cpp. Okay, when you compile it, the .obj file is created. Okay, so if you have more than one file in your application, that is quite possible. Okay, file1.cpp, and you have created one more obj, file1.obj. Okay, suppose you did some changes after building. Okay, you are doing the build. During the build, what happens, that these two objs are compiled, or any number of objs, if they are there, they are collected and they are converted into an exe file. Okay, suppose you found some mistake and you did some changes in this file, file1.cpp, not in file.cpp. Okay, you did some changes in file1.cpp, then in that case, what will happen, when you will do build, then build means compile plus build. Okay, so what thing it will compile? It will only compile this file, because only this file has the changes. And how it identifies? It only identifies the latest file. If the file has the timestamp changed from since last, if the timestamp of that file means the time and date of that file which has been changed, every file has a date and time associated with it. You can see that if you open your computer, if you find out any of the if you check any of the files, if you see the properties of that file, you can see the date and time of that file when it was last modified. So if this was modified since the last time, then in that case build will compile first, and only this thing will be compiled, and only the new obj for this file will be created, and then these two objs will be combined together to create the exe. This is what the build is. Okay, but what is rebuild? In case of rebuild, all the objs, whether file 1, file 2, no matter where you changed, but if you do rebuild, it will clean everything. Without any change, you can do rebuild. If you have doubt, like something is not correct, somewhere the problem has happened while compiling the code, then you can do this rebuild. Once you do the rebuild, then all the obj files are cleaned up, then all of them compiled again. All of them compiled again, their objs are created again, and after objs are created, after that they are combined, or you can say the build together to make the exe. Now the new exe is created. This is called the rebuild. So I hope now you have understood the difference between the build and the rebuild. Now what is the clean solution? Clean is nothing, the same thing that we discussed here. Clean, it only removes all the obj files, it clears all the obj files, all the exes. Okay, so exe will also be removed. When you do the rebuild, exe will also be replaced, it will also be removed, it will be created new. But in case of clean, all the objs will be removed and exe will also be removed. So after the clean, if you want to see your exe, you need to do the build or rebuild. Then only you will be able to create the exe of your application and you will be able to run them. Okay, so I hope you might have understood the concept of compilation and building, rebuilding, clean solution with the Visual Studio 2019. If no, then you can let me know, I will explain it again. Okay, so with this I'm just concluding this for today, and next video we will meet again. Till then, have a nice day.